Whew, man, it's certainly been quite a while since we saw this setup, huh?
Yeah, I'll say. About 6 months, as a matter of fact. What happened to you, man?
Right, I do owe you all an explanation. Last December, I had hit something called burnout, a state of physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion that can negatively affect our health and our performance. It's a state where you feel even more drained than usual, as if you were doing everything you can for everyone else, and when it's finally your turn, there's nothing left to give.
Sounds like it's just stress and exhaustion to me. Don't you usually take January off to rest and then bounce back afterwards?
Well, you see, that's just it. I did do that, but I wasn't able to bounce back. Not like how I normally do. When I was trying to make the new video about the new Autism Barbie dolls, everything felt wrong at the time. There were several things going on at work, the script was far too long, I was trying to be a perfectionist at every little thing, there were technical issues left and right, and my anxiety was rising higher and higher and higher, and it didn't come together. That's why you never saw that video. This was more than just stress and exhaustion. Something wasn't right. So, I took the liberty to take a step back, give myself more time to rest, and then look into how burnout affects autistic people, as well as how it may affect neurotypicals differently.
The truth is that anybody can experience burnout, autistic or otherwise. For both autistics and neurotypicals, burnout is something that builds up over time. Not something that just suddenly appears overnight like a bad dream. It's mainly caused by ongoing stresses and demands, along with inefficient coping skills. Burnout can also make us feel far more fatigued and impede many of our essential functions. And when we get to this point, it can take much longer than usual to recover. Unfortunately, this is where the similarities end, as the differences for how we experience burnout can be quite substantial. Beginning with causes, a neurotypical may experience burnout as a result of work-related stress, pressures from society, and the efforts put in towards maintaining their lifestyle. For an autistic, it could be some of these factors, and a whole other layer, complete with sensory overload, social fatigue, changes in routines, and in many cases, long periods of masking. Now before you say it, but Stephen, you said that masking is a helpful tool for dealing with stress.
I did. And I also said that masking isn't foolproof. Remember that masking involves some form of repression of ourselves to meet expectations, and the longer we mask, the worse we may feel later on.
Next up are the symptoms, or how burnout affects us. Someone who is neurotypical may experience an increase in irritability, a decrease in efficiency, developing a sense of cynicism, or distancing themselves from work and people. On the other hand, someone who is autistic might have some of these symptoms, combined with more exhaustion, heightened sensory issues, and could experience a loss of their skills, as if things they could have done easily now feel nearly impossible. Finally, with regards to recovery, because a neurotypical might not have the same baggage, for lack of a better word, that an autistic may have, a neurotypical might be able to recover much faster than an autistic could. I know all of this sounds bad, and in many cases it is. But as always, we have some tips to help you out. Right, Stephen?
Naturally. To start, stop and rest. This is not the kind of recovery that you apply a push-forward mentality to. You are already at your limit. The more you push, the longer it's going to take to recover. As you're taking that step back, look at everything that's been going on and list all of the stressors that have brought you to this moment. Be honest with yourself because you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. Once you have that full list, identify which stressors are absolutely essential to your lifestyle. And for any that are not essential, get rid of them. Because at this point, they are doing more bad than good. For me, it was, unfortunately, the video schedule I had. That and the whole being a perfectionist thing. Although it did serve me well in years past to keep everything organized, as time went on, I was trying to do more for the channel and more outside the channel. And soon, the very thing that was supposed to help me was now turning against me. And besides, it's not like everybody was watching the content right on premiere, they were watching it at their own time. Seeing as this was the case, I decided it was time for some much needed changes.
Wait a second. So, the changes to the video and live stream schedules, the autism news content, and the special guest live streams. You're telling me all of this was for...
Now you're catching on. Trying new things is great, but most importantly, it was taking away all of the unneeded stressors that I placed on myself by diversifying the content, giving me more options, as well as being more flexible with my schedule. I made content creating more fun again. Not to mention far more relaxing. Now let's say you're the kind of person that hates letting people down or disappointing them, trying to do everything you can for others before yourself.
Like this guy.
Does this sound like you? Maybe it's time to start setting some boundaries and realizing that it's okay to say no once in a while. Just because you say no doesn't always make you a bad person. At times, it could be a matter of setting those boundaries, knowing your value, and taking care of yourself. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I felt being taken advantage of, with some people asking things over and over and over again, to the point where I had to put my foot down, draw the boundaries, and say, no, you have been asking too much of me. I need to take care of myself. Again, this is not out of spite. This is out of self-care. Big difference. The final tip I have for this video is to talk to someone about it. Your parents, your friends, or even a therapist. That reminds me, I need to schedule another appointment with them soon. More on that later. Regardless of whether or not you get the answers you need, just the act of opening up to someone about it can be so relieving. Knowing that you don't have to keep it all to yourself, that there are others that can help you. And believe me, there are. I could go over some more tips, but let's go ahead and stop here. If you have any more questions, want more advice, or want to share your experience on burnout, tell us about it in the comments section below. And with that, we have arrived at the end. Thank you for watching, everybody. No, seriously, thank you for watching so much. I know it's been several months since the last one of these, and in all honesty, for some people, it might be too late. So if you watched this and stuck around to the end, seriously, thank you. Like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time.